Sometimes love doesn't arrive with fireworks or grand declarations. It sneaks in quietly, through gestures, glances, and little moments he might not even notice himself. Most men aren't wired to easily recognize when their emotions have deepened beyond attraction. They just feel something shift inside them. This story-like explanation walks you through 12 subtle ways he's falling deeper for you without realizing it, grounded in emotional psychology and real behavioral patterns. By the end, you'll see that love often whispers before it speaks. His priorities start to change without him planning it. At first, his life was structured around his own world, his job, his hobbies, his routines. But lately you've started showing up in his plans without him consciously putting you there. He finds himself saying things like, "I'll text her after work," or "Maybe she'd like this place," he begins, rearranging his time not because you asked, but because it feels right. This shift is the subconscious prioritization of emotional attachment. He's no longer chasing validation. He's protecting connection. When a man falls deeper, his brain's reward circuitry lights up the same way it does for long-term goals. You're no longer a passing interest. You're part of his internal schedule. He listens differently, paying attention to what you don't say. When attraction deepens into emotional connection, listening changes. He's not just hearing your words anymore. He's reading between them. He remembers details, the way you said your mum's favorite tea brand, how you fidget when anxious, or the exact song that made you cry once. And when he asks, "Did that thing with your coworker work out?" 2 weeks later, it's not small talk. It's emotional tracking. Unconsciously, he's collecting fragments of your world because his mind is already intertwining his emotions with yours. Psychologically, this indicates empathic attunement, a core sign of falling in love. He starts mirroring your energy. Watch him closely in conversation. Does his tone soften when yours does? Does he use the same phrases or expressions as you lately? That's not mimicry. It's emotional mirroring. When we bond deeply, the brain's mirror neurons activate to align our emotional states with those we care about. He doesn't realize it, but his body language is syncing with yours. Similar gestures, pauses, laughter. This alignment means he's subconsciously trying to feel what you feel. In love psychology, this is the silent language of belonging. His guard drops around you at the start. He might have been measured, careful, keeping a strong front. But as feelings deepen, walls start to fade. He begins sharing small vulnerabilities. The things that embarrassed him once now just slip out. He tells you about childhood fears, insecurities, or moments that shaped him. Men rarely realize this shift, but emotionally, it means you've crossed from being an interest to a safe space. When a man opens up, it's not weakness, it's trust disguised as storytelling. And trust is love's most consistent proof. He gets protective, not possessive, when he's falling for you. His instinct to protect kicks in, not to control, but to care. You'll notice subtle things, offering to walk you to your car, checking you got home safely, or quietly watching out for you in crowded places. He might downplay it as just being polite, but emotionally, it's attachment expressing itself through protection. In male psychology, love often translates into responsibility. He wants you safe, not because you can't handle yourself, but because your well-being has started to matter to him, deeply, silently, instinctively. He begins to seek emotional reassurance. When he's not that into someone, a man doesn't care how she perceives him, but when he's falling deeper, he suddenly starts to, often without realizing it. He'll ask things like, "You're not mad, right?" Or, "Did that bother you?" He worries about saying the wrong thing. He cares about your opinion. That's the subconscious need for emotional reassurance, a sign of vulnerability, and vulnerability is the quiet heartbeat of attachment. He may not say, "I like you more than I expected," but his need for your approval whispers it in every small hesitation. He feels jealous in gentle ways, not the toxic, dramatic kind, the human kind, the little flicker that shows he's emotionally invested. When you mention someone else, he grows quiet for a moment. When you're busy and can't reply, he acts fine but scrolls through your last message again. He doesn't plan this behavior. It simply leaks from his emotional wiring. His heart is testing the stability of its new attachment. That subtle jealousy isn't possessiveness. It's fear disguised as curiosity. Am I losing something that isn't even mine yet? 8. He becomes more consistent without trying to. Before, he texted sporadically or showed up when convenient. Now he's just there, reliable, responsive, showing up even when life's hectic. That's because deep emotions bring consistency. When men feel truly connected, dopamine-driven chasing gives way to oxytocin-driven bonding. He's no longer chasing excitement. He's nurturing stability. He doesn't consciously realize it, but he's building something solid, one small action at a time. He starts including you in his inner circle. When a man starts introducing you to his friends, family, or routines, that's an unconscious declaration of "you belong." It's subtle at first. Maybe he casually invites you to his favorite cafe, or mentions that his sister would like your sense of humor. He's blending two worlds, his and yours, without naming it love. But in psychology, inclusion equals attachment. He's not saying, "you're my person," but he's acting like you already are. 10. He becomes emotionally affected by your moods. When your sadness makes him restless, or your joy lights him up, that's emotional empathy deepening. He doesn't just notice your feelings, he feels them. If you're distant, he wonders what's wrong. If you're happy, he mirrors that warmth. This emotional contagion is a biological signal that his limbic system, the emotional brain, has begun to sync with yours. He doesn't understand why he feels lighter when you're okay, or uneasy when you're quiet. That's love, moving silently beneath logic. Eek. He starts imagining us. Without intending to, he's not daydreaming about a wedding, but he's picturing small moments, a road trip, a dinner, a random future plan that includes you. When a man unconsciously starts framing his life with someone in it, his brain is already adjusting to long-term emotional bonding. That's why he'll say things like, "You'd love this place. We should try that next time." It's not about possession, it's about emotional continuity. He's beginning to think in terms of we, and once that happens, he's already halfway in love even if he hasn't said it. 2. He looks at you differently. Love has a gaze, slow, soft, anchored. When he's falling deeper, his eyes linger longer, not just on how you look, but who you are. He studies your face when you speak, your laugh, your silences. In psychology, this is called prolonged mutual gaze. It increases oxytocin and deepens emotional bonding. He might not even be aware of it, but his eyes give him away. It's the unspoken truth his words haven't caught up with yet. He's not analyzing you. He's absorbing you. Quietly, fully, helplessly. The beauty of falling in love lies in its unawareness. He doesn't wake up one day and decide, "I'm in love." It happens through tiny, unnoticed acts, choosing to listen longer, to stay softer, to show up again and again. By the time he realizes it, his heart is already there, and maybe he'll never say it out loud right away, but you'll feel it. In the way he looks at you when you talk, in the calm in his voice when you're near, in the quiet shift from me to us, because sometimes love doesn't arrive with fireworks. Sometimes it arrives without saying a word.